Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Fortified Life podcast, where we are passionate about developing a dependency on Jesus in the marketplace. I love bringing on all types of guests that talk about their wisdom and their business knowledge and their acumen, but also share their faith. But folks, we're going to take a step back because this is one of our tools and resources episodes. We have a lot of people that share their faith and their expertise, but we also want to bring you things that help you do business day to day, whether it's working with your team, your finances. And today I'm very excited because an individual and a platform that I absolutely love. We're going to talk about your business finances today. Yes, folks, that's right. We're going to talk about money. And to have the conversation with us today, we have Erin Moger of Profit First. She's a Profit First professional's guide, and we are going to talk shop on what it means to manage your money as a business owner. Erin, welcome to the Fortified Life. It's great to have you.
Thank you. I'm excited about this.
Yes. Now, Erin, I know you and I know this, but for the people out there, they hear this term profit first and I'm like, oh, I'm intrigued, but what is that? So where does one even begin just with the intrigue of, okay, people keep telling me, because I've heard this too before experientially, Erin, is people start talking about business and money and somebody just randomly shouts out Profit First or this Mike McAllowitz guy. And then it's like, okay, so what do I do with that?
Yeah. Well, it's actually one of the most interesting things I think we find is that even though everybody has different industry backgrounds, different expertise and things like that, money is a huge common denominator. And the way that people engage with money is pretty consistent across different industries, different platforms, different revenue ranges. And one of the biggest pain points we see in money is the lack of cash flow. And so, Profit First is actually one of the tools that we use to build out and create consistency and stability and authority in our cash flow by leveraging human behavior
Hmm.
and establishing a cash management strategy. So many people have systems around every other aspect of business, sales, team, service offerings, but not too many people have cash management systems that they're consistent in and have strength in. And so that's really where Profit First finds its footing and creates the impact.
Mm. Aaron, you said a mouthful of goodness there, and there's much to be investigated. Kind of shape the problem for us. There's, roughly 30 million small businesses in the US, give or take whatever the research is. Kind of set up the problem for us because I think people, as a business owner, that you need, oh, I guess I got to do accounting and I guess I
Yeah.
need to know my cash flow. Kind of set up the problem for us because people know they need to keep track, but then they don't even realize, kind of the what they're stuck in to even go down the path of addressing their cash flow.
Yes, sir. Well, it's funny. We find ourselves in a bit of trouble. One of the the mantras that we have put out there way in the beginning was "gap is crap,"
Mm,
and we work with a lot of accountants and bookkeepers, and so this mindset of like accounting, traditional accounting is no good, is has struck a chord in that profession. And when we say that, what I want to do is kind of paint a picture for you. When we look at business, we think of it like a house, right? So accounting is an important tool to it's a necessary resource to have, and I highly encourage as a business owner to have your financial board of advisors. You should have an accountant, you should have a bookkeeper, you should have a coach, you should have accountability partners around your money and people that are going to bring you out of the day to day into the conversation. But your business as a house, what kind of happens when you have a house, most of the time there's a front door, and if you
mhm,
think about traditional homes, they have a foyer. They have this area where it's usually kept clean, it's decorated for the season, it's supposed to express the home in a certain way.
yeah.
And accounting kind of functions in that posture. It's meant to communicate very specific things to specific people. Like it's meant to directly communicate with the banks, it's to speak with the IRS and the government, it's to connect with other business owners. So it creates this important mechanism of communication that is in service of you. But the pain point is in accounting, one, the majority of business owners don't really understand it, right?
Yeah.
There's not this mechanism of comprehension. The other thing is it's delayed. Accounting is a historical record, which is really incredibly powerful when you're trying
Hmm.
to understand impact and really get into the nitty-gritty decision-making process or plan. However, when you're here in your day, it's not always going to serve you because the reconciliations are happening 3 weeks after the actual transaction has happened. So it's not a realistic touch point and a regular place where you can see movement of money. And now when we look at that, while it's doing all these really great things for you, it's not serving us as the business owner in the decision-making process. And while we all know we should be looking at these things, even when you do, you're not really sure how to use them. And so what we've done and what Profit First kind of functions as is creating that backdoor into your home, into your business. It's where life happens. Like you come in through the mudroom and you take your shoes off. Your sink is full of dishes because you live here and the crayons all
Hmm.
over because kids are here. Like it's where you're living and making decisions and serving your clients. And while accounting is really great, it's a full cumulative picture of your cash flow as opposed to a current viewpoint. And so the majority of business owners are actually using their bank balance to make decisions. And so Profit First is a mechanism to leverage what we already do, create that behavioral
Hmm.
intercept and create a more realistic cash management strategy because you have real-time cash reporting in a process that is already in alignment with how you function. So
Yeah.
it really does. It's when we look at this and we see businesses struggling, the fact that there are 30 million small businesses out there and 22 million of them are living check to check, that is not a person issue. There's no way on this planet that that many people are living check to check because they aren't good at what they do.
Yeah.
The system's clearly broken. And so when we look at the system and we look at accounting, it's meant for something very different. We have to fill this void, and Profit First is our mechanism to do that.
Mm. So well said, Aaron, and it lays out it lays out the problem and it brings the awareness. And one of the things you've been teeing up for us, Aaron, is this whole you mentioned it with the bank balance accounting. Those of you, if you're able to watch this, I'm holding up my phone, is how do I check how much money I have? I look at this guy. So talk
Yep.
about the behavior part, Aaron, because I can be told, hey, you need to look at your balance sheet or your statement of cash flow. And yet, when you want to know how much money you have, what do? You either go online and log into your account or you pull up your phone and open up your bank app and go, that's how much money I have. And I
Right.
don't see how that translates to my financial statement. So, kind of talk about
Yeah.
the behavior aspect that plays a factor into Profit First, too.
Yeah. No, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. So the decisions that we make typically happen within the realm of our bank accounts because that's what we have access to. That reflects current information and it gives us the most, I think what we want to believe is the most realistic picture of opportunity, right?
Mhm.
However, what happens in our bank accounts is that very frequently we find that that money is earmarked for other things. And so if I'm over here making decisions that are more a choice and maybe not necessarily like in alignment with bill payment and things like that, more varied, I can actually dip into things I shouldn't be dipping into. And so while accounting is a really great resource and it's meant to help you avoid doing those things, it doesn't communicate in a way that makes sense for us. We're always
Mhm.
checking our bank accounts for that information. And there's this concept, actually, it's so funny. Once you hear it, you're never going to stop seeing it. It's called Parkinson's Law, where
Mm.
we use resources in alignment to what is available to us. And so while we're in the decision-making process and we're going to be checking our accounts, actually, literally everybody we talk to, we're like, okay, what's the decision-making process? They're like, well, I go look at my bank account. And so it is just so ingrained. The problem is we are subject to Parkinson's Law. The
Mm.
resources we have available to us, whether it's time, whether it's money, whether it's paper towels or tissues or toothpaste, like you are going to use what you have available to you to do what you need to do. And so when we're thinking about profit first, part of the behavioral aspect of this is leveraging that to really serve and benefit us and position the bank accounts and the strategy to be our biggest ally in the process of our cash management.
Mm. Wow. My goodness, Aaron, you've laid out the problem. You've talked about the human behavior. So now people are saying, all right, Aaron, I recognize that. I'm one of those people where it's like, okay, I got my financial statements. That's how I check for my money. I want a cash flow management system. So what do I do? Because Aaron, I think a lot of business owners, they have, a checking account, kind of a place where all the money comes in, and maybe a savings account.
Yeah.
But as you really start to step into having Profit First be your cash flow management system, if you only have a checking and a savings account, or just a checking account and everything comes in and you're like, ballpark, if I do this and I leave this much, how does it start to play out to bring that peace of mind as an outcome? And then also it marries when I take a look at my phone or log into, my bank website to look at my accounts. How does that start to lay out practically for uh looking at my cash flow?
Yeah. So the interesting thing about cash flow, and one thing I'll share is it is somewhat of a foreign subject matter. Like we might
Mm,
know a lot about our finances and we don't know very much about our cash flow.
mm,
And this is
it's
where
good.
it's intricate. It's money in, it's money out. It's nuanced and it's going to be different week by week, sometimes month by month. And unless we can establish a baseline and understand our personal cash flow, it's really difficult for us to create strength in anything else. Or actually, I'll even take it a step further. It's science. Like if you don't have a baseline and understand your cash flow, it's really, really difficult for you to quantify success and change your business in a way that's positively impacting you.
Mm,
So when we are looking at doing this, kind of taking it from the foundation of what we already have, like you said, usually it's a checking account, maybe a savings account. And sometimes if you're really thoughtful, you might have two savings accounts, right?
mhm,
Or two checkings accounts. But very seldom do you see businesses with more than just a few accounts. And the problem is when money is moving in and out of that particular account over and over and over again, it doesn't really position us to see any consistency. It doesn't position us to really understand or create an understanding of our personal cash flow baseline. And so when we look at a cash flow management system and when we compare that to Parkinson's law, we want to create and define money and we want to create and define flow in a way that we can be consistent and sustain this change in our business. So there are 5 categories of focus that we have, and actually they align with how we define success. And if you define success a little differently, I'll encourage you to add a category or maybe rename some categories. But everybody goes into business to make money. They want to sell a product or create and actually move money into their lives, into their business. They go into business to keep money. They want to make sure that they are able to sustain and grow. They want to be able to pay themselves well. They want to actually serve a strong deliverable. Everybody wants to do a great job at what they do, and they want to do that without getting in trouble with the IRS. I don't think it's too crazy for us to have 5 accounts. Do you? So what we do is we actually go in and we're like, what are the key metrics of success in business? Literally these 5. Like that's not a lot. For you to say, I am successful in business if I'm generating sales, if I'm making sure I'm not using every dollar that I make, if I'm paying myself and serving my family well, if my deliverable is taken care of and I have the position and the ability to strategically invest and grow. And I'm doing that while following through on the things that I'm responsible for and being a good steward to my duties. 5 core categories. So what we're doing is we're saying, okay, instead of one core category where we can't really see, let's have 5. And from there, we'll establish a rhythm and flow and start to see how money is moving in our business. But we also are defining the movement of money. When we're looking at the old formula that is causing this check to check conundrum is the
Mm,
sales minus expenses equals profit. Because
yeah.
we are not going to have profit left over. Parkinson's law says it's not going to work, right? We're going to use all those things. So the fact that you can have anything left over is either an anomaly or a miracle, right?
Yeah.
And we kind of want to have authority in our success. And this is a really powerful way to do that with your finances. So by just shifting the perspective and saying, okay, listen, instead of all the money going into this main account, I'm going to have all my money go into my income account. And then from there, I'm going to define and I'm going to prioritize. And because I know this is very faith-based, we actually have members and PFPs that when money comes into their income account, the first place they allocate is their tithe account, right? And that can be defined in how you use that however you want to, but money into your income account. And then from there, we establish a rhythm that aligns with our definition of success, which is savings, our profit account. Our profit is really seriously designed to establish an emergency fund. If there's anything we know in business, there are going to be ebbs and flow in cash. And when you're not in a season of expansion, we're in a season of compression. And
Mm.
our cash flow needs to serve preparation, because where we can anticipate, we can prepare, we can create authority, and it's stewardship at the end of the day. So we
Mm.
need to have money coming in, and then we want to flow it to our profit account. And we want to make sure that it's serving our business owners well, and their homes and their family and their dreams and visions well. And then from there, we want to continue to prioritize our responsibility to the IRS, because ultimately at the end of the day, that money isn't ours at all. Actually, Billy Ann, one of our fellow PFP guys, she will write out the IRS, and she's like, see, it even says theirs. Like, this is not our money. Like, so those four categories, or those three categories besides income, are really the prioritization and us creating intentionality in our success. And that's where you turn that formula into your favor. Instead of being sales minus expenses equals profit, now it's sales minus profit and the business owner equals expenses. And
Mm.
we're still actually going to serve a really strong deliverable, because guess what? Parkinson's law is not just a bad thing. It can be a really powerful asset in your business. So when you prioritize these three main categories and the rest of the money goes to your OPEX, you actually are giving yourselves this place to create an innovative mindset. You're going to
Yeah.
be more intentional and strategic. When something happens in your business, because ultimately the way I look at Profit First, it's an alarm system. It's you
Mm.
establishing authority, but it's not a set it and forget it structure. It's actually designed for you to then create a process to serve your business. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if something is not right within the system, your cash is going to yell at you. And what
Mm.
this allows you to do is go in and say, my operating expense is tight. What? And now I can go back to my baseline and I can look and see, okay, well, I didn't get as much money in. Why? Did I not bill? Did I not collect? Did I not sell? Okay, I did all those things. Where did it go? Oh, my labor's high. Why is my labor high? Oh, okay. Why
Yeah.
this? So now you're giving yourself a mechanism to actually be proactive in your cash flow, solve and create solution at the core of a problem, and ultimately grow your business with intention and strength, because you have boundary, but you also have freedom to invest and support the mechanisms that you've discerned to be important.
Mm. Folks, I'm smiling because as Aaron's talking about it, I'm like, thank God I use Profit
Yes,
First, and
sir.
it's the best. And folks, we Aaron's got to go here shortly because she's got to continue dominating the world and being the guide that she is. So, Aaron, we've laid out the problem. We've talked about Parkinson's law and human behavior, and then we've talked about those five areas of focus. Is there some sort of help, support, or I don't know, guide that could help people implement this? And then, if only there was a bank that they could go to that could help them do this. So, could you elaborate on where people can go for support and a bank partner that might be able to help with that?
It's a good thing I know a few people. I do actually know a few. Actually, our website, profitfirstprofessionals.com, you can find a Profit First professional to help you kind of comprehend where your business is at. Again, understand your baseline and then create strategies to really customize and maximize on your profitability, but also your cash flow. And then, of course, Relay. Honestly, one of the biggest pushbacks we've gotten is like, well, why so many bank accounts? Bank accounts. I'm like, Relay, listen, you can't, you can set it. Please don't set it and forget it. I'm going to say that. But you can literally set up your bank accounts and be on your way and already creating the change and authority that you deserve in your money.
You sure can. And folks, We have Relay Bank. They will come talk on this platform. So don't you worry. They're going to be on here too. And it's a match made in heaven, Relay Bank and Profit First. Erin, I just wanted to thank you so much. Just say that one more time, Erin, for the people. So is it profitfirstprofessionals.com?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Social media accounts or where can people, Instagram,
Profit
Facebook?
First Pros. We're Profit First Pros everywhere. But if you go to profitfirstprofessionals.com, you'll see a little more. There's a bunch of free resources. You can connect with PFPs. You can also find all of our hashtags and I'm sorry, not hashtags, all of our social media platforms and follow along. Because you're not
Awesome.
alone in this journey. You are not alone in this journey and you are worthy of success.
Amen to that. And folks, also the book is wonderful, Profit First by Mike McCallowitz. Definitely, Erin, where can people get a copy? Because I almost look at it like you have someone walking with you, you have the bank accounts, but it's just a great reference point
Yeah.
to go back
Yeah.
and look. So where can people get a copy of the book as well?
Well, Amazon is a really great place for everything. If you unless you want to buy in bulk, you can go to other places, but Amazon is really it. And I highly encourage if you like audiobooks, Mike has so many hidden stories in the audiobook and is he's fully himself. So it's really fun to kind of listen to the book as far as that goes too. So
Love it. Love
please
it.
dabble.
Please do. Folks, we'll have all of these links, all these resources in the show notes, fortifiedlifepodcast.com or jerichoforce.com/podcast. I know it seemed like rapid fire, but I promise you, if you want to find out more about Profit First, you will get to it. And it helps that just like Erin knew some people, I know Erin. So either way, you're going to be able to get to somebody that can help you implement a cash flow management system. Erin, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. This has been great. We already knew it was going to be great because we've had a lot of chats offline, but just huge shout out to you. Thank you so much for pouring into the audience here on the show.
Always a pleasure. I appreciate you sharing.
All right. Thank you, Erin. Folks, that's all we have time for here on The Fortified Life. Again, this has been a tools and resources episode. Check out the show notes for more information about Profit First, the book, how to get a guide, someone to walk with you, a coach to walk with you. And what I love about it too, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. You could be in healthcare, you could be a contractor. Listen, Profit First is possible and it can grow with your business as well. And I'm a testament. I use the Profit First system. So this isn't just hearsay or I'm not being paid or anything like that. I'm an actual person who uses Profit First and I'm a living example, a living testament. So, Erin, thank you so much. And, folks, we will see you next time on The Fortified Life. You know how we end it. Don't compartmentalize your faith in the marketplace. And from the boardroom to the bathroom, God is with you. We'll see you next time on the Fortified Life podcast.